Hey everybody, Snoo here again. I decided I wanted to do a nice little test of the Headhunter Divination card drop rates, particularly while mega juicing and targeting them specifically with ancillary other juicing. But long story short, I am going to be farming the Patient in Proxima Armoury, the nurse in the tower, and even the doctor in the burial chambers. And I'm gonna do 16 maps, mega juice. I like doing 16 because that's how the elevated sextants are set up. I'm a big believer now in elevated sextants. Recently, I think they're actually quite reasonable in price. Let me show you guys what I'm working with here first. So I went ahead and used one elevated sextant on each of my really good Chayula breach Watchstones, and I hit 2 really good. Now there were 3 mandatory mods I needed to hit. I need Nemesis 3 because that's my ancillary farming method. That's what makes sure I don't lose money doing this. And I need both Strongbox Sextants. One of the Strongbox Sextants is a common roll at like 500 weighting, and the other 2 are not. They're not as rare as Delirium or Sacred Grove, but they are a little more rare. So what did I hit? I hit the Strongbox with the one that's less rare, and the fourth sextant was kind of up in the air. It's just gonna be. I wasn't sure what I was gonna hit, and I would have taken many different possibilities. But I ended up hitting Beyond, which is one of the best 4th options, really, because I'm actually rolling Beyond on my map, and I'm using Nemesis 3, so it's going to be quite impactful in how many currency items I get. So I went ahead and took one elevated sextant on the Irresistible Temptation. I actually have a lot of these now. 600% item quantity. I really like pumping that number up to 600%. I think this is honestly, this Watchstone Sextant here is honestly the most powerful way to target farm divination cards. And I can't think of any other particular farming method that enables you to juice up your quantity this much. Granted, it's only from the monsters that spawn from the chest, but when you're running Monsters Treasure and you're running, ambush, winged ambush, Scarabs, and all the works, it's a lot of monsters on the map. And then there's Nemesis 3. I didn't do Nemesis 4 because it's just too dang expensive. It's like 10x or more now. So, but this Watchstone right here, 1x or less. So what's the investment on the Watchstones? Well, this is 1x times 4, so that's 4x. This is only about 1x. About 1x. So this is 5x total. And I did roll an elevated sextant on 4 times, so we'll go ahead and say this was another exalt for both of these hits, which is kind of lucky. But again, I only needed 3 of the 4. I didn't need all 4 of these to be what they are. So that's 4 plus 5 plus 5. That's only 6 exalts invested in the sextants. The Watchstones I'm not counting because I had them for the longest time. I expect people to have whatever Watchstones they're going to have. Here's what I'm running. As you can see, there's quite a few maps in here. Winged Ambush Scarab, Winged Divination Scarab, they go together like a married couple as far as I'm concerned. Juicing each other up real good. No, that came out kind of wrong, but okay. Gilded Breach Scarab, because I'm in Lex Proxima, I'm farming breaches. I don't want to pay for the winged one. I think it's overpriced. Unreasonably overpriced, and 3 is fine. Actually, breaches aren't that fun in Lex Proxima because they don't spawn quickly and collapse quickly. But if I hit Chayula, obviously I'll go ahead and stay and finish it out. Gilded Abyss Scarab. I am becoming a bigger and bigger fan of Abyss, especially with Nemesis farming and Divination farming, just because of the sheer number of monsters it pumps out onto the map. Many of them are rare too. I'm beginning to think of Harbinger. I used to be like Harbinger, Abyss, and now it's suddenly become like this. No, it's more like I was Harbinger and Metamorph, like this. And the Metamorph is like, and then Abyss took its place, and now it's like, and I'm thinking Abyss is actually, with no Atlas passives whatsoever, no Sextant modifiers whatsoever, I think Abyss is honestly the best Scarab for, yeah, like the #1 Scarab for just Nemesis and raw number of monsters. Well, second to strong Ambush Scarab. Second to Ambush Scarab. Even like Gilded Ambush, maybe. That'd be a tough call. Anyway, my first map. By the way, I had actually started this test in the Lighthouse because the internet was telling me that the patient card drops in the Lighthouse, but apparently it doesn't actually. So I kind of wasted a little bit of time in 2 maps in there. Then I discovered it really does not drop there. Oh, almost forgot to do one thing. I am going to put Delirious 20 on there just for a few extra monsters. Again, this is... I would categorize this as Mega Juicing. And since I put that in there, I can choose... Oh. Infused Ambush for an extra 6 Strongboxes on the map. Oh yeah. I don't know if I'll be able to use these in any other way, so best to use them now. I only have 1 map like this, by the way. Monstrous Treasure, almost forgot. Monstrous Treasure. That would have been bad. Not that it would proc anyway, but... Let's put this bad boy in here. So this is not insanely juiced, you know, it's not quadruple Winged Scarab, it's not quadruple Elevated Sextants, it's not Nemesis 4, it's not 100% Delirious, but it is pretty heavy duty. So we got 6x in the Sextants. I'm counting 0 for the Watchstones because I already had them. And honestly, you know, you can use whatever Watchstones you want. Granted, because I'm using 2 Chayula Watchstones, I am going to find some Chayula breaches where you wouldn't otherwise. So that might skew the ultimate exalts per hour a little bit. The maps, you know, I rolled beyond on them all. It costs a little bit, but the maps are basically free because I have them. I did have to buy a few in this case, like 5C a piece. We'll say 20C a piece for the maps. What's that come out to? Okay, we're looking at about 2.5 exalts there for the maps. And the Scarabs, okay, it's basically like 60-40 or 50-50 for the Winged, 100 for the Winged, and 20 for the others. So a little under an exalt per map for the Scarabs. Let's see, 16 times... Probably like 15 or 14 exalts, probably, for all the Scarabs. So we got 14 plus 6 plus 2.5 divided by 16. A little less than 1.5 exalts per map. Came out to 1.4. I think that'd be pretty accurate. Considering Monstrous Treasure is going to proc a couple times, we'll go ahead and call it 1.5 exalts per map invested. Going to be running Alva. I've used Ambush. And here we go. Map number 1. Now, I should go ahead and say, I'm not really expecting this to be some big hurrah findings here. Surgog, I think, is the only one who's really tested this and published his results on target farming the patient card. Oh wow, Rusted Harbinger Scarab right away. Oh nice, I random the Harbinger Delirium secondary one. So he ran 30 maps, I think he said 30 maps, found 12 cards, but he only did basically Alk and Go. And I got to thinking, what is the big difference between Alk and Go and what I'm doing? And in my opinion, really think about how many monsters spawn from the Strongboxes, the difference in quantity already, just inherent on the map, the extra beyond monsters and all that, I'm probably going to see around 3 to 4, maybe 5 times as many cards on a per map basis as you would if you just out and go. Even chiseled out and go. I'm probably seeing about, yeah, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 times as many. I would guess 4 to 6 times as many cards as you would see. So I'm really looking forward to what happens when I do the tower this way. Actually, I kind of know what's going to happen when I do the tower, because I have farmed the tower a lot in the past, and I know how often it'll drop there. Burial chambers, I think a lot of people would be skeptical if I said I'm expecting to see at least 1 doctor card in 16 maps with how hard I'm going to juice that. To be honest, I'm not expecting to see a doctor card in 16 maps, but I won't be surprised if I do see one. I would expect to see one like every maybe 50 maps with how hard I'm juicing. And honestly, like, I might do that. I might make it a 50 map sort of farming session just to really get a good idea of how common the doctor is with near maximum juice. And when I say near maximum juice, I don't mean like investing a stupid amount of money per the map, you know, not getting your money back at all. No, I mean like, you know, you're gonna get your money back. Okay, so there's a patient. There, we confirmed the patient does drop in this map. We found 1. Man, I'd have to find a ton of these for me to really even consider this extra quantity. But it's elemental reflect. Oh man, 2 patient cards immediately off the front end of this map. Oh my god, I think that's the 5th patient that dropped this run. I'll be able to find out in a few. That's big actually. If I get like 5 in one map, and that starts becoming like a normal trend, that's gonna change. That's gonna give me a change of heart. But I seriously doubt that's what happens. Alright everybody, we got the results in from testing the Armoury, mega juicing, target farming the patient card and currency as an ancillary farming method, making sure we get some decent profit. Let me show you the results here. They're right here in the tab, and I got, once again, per our usual arrangement, tons of maps. This always seems to be right around 100 maps when I run 16 maps. I get like 100 uncorrupted T14 to T16s. Some real premium ones in here like Tropical Island, Precinct, Bazaar, Burial Chambers, Tower. Really good ones in here. Some unique ones, some worth more than others. And also an invitation to the Twisted, surprisingly, dropped on one of the 16 maps. I went ahead and did my usual and just counted this all at 5 C apiece. You can sell most of this for up to 10 C apiece. Twisted obviously goes for more like 30, but you know, just gonna count it all as 5 C apiece, and that made up for 530 chaos for all the maps, including the invitation. All the heist stuff, we got pretty lucky on the blueprints. Got a lot of unusual gems and replicas, a few others. I got 5 deception contracts here, and almost 13k rogue markers. That totaled out to be about, rounded down a fair bit, to 200 chaos. And next we got the expedition stuff. Actually got pretty lucky in the expedition stuff. I got 18 exotic coinage. You know, I really only count like the medallions, exotic coinage, and the Astragali count for like half a chaos, and I do Grand Black Scythes and, you know, the big ones a tad, but really, you know, most of this stuff is I don't even count in here. Of course, I do count the logbooks. I've decided to just count these at 50C a piece. I know it's kind of on the low end, but I don't really feel like I know a whole lot about their value and how to price them. 50C a piece in the logbooks. Grand total of all the expedition stuff, 370C. And you can see for yourself here. Next one is the items. Mostly a lot of Abyss jewels this time. Some uniques. Jewels and stuff. A perfect rolled Forbidden Taste. It's actually worth a fair bit. An extremely well rolled Corrupted Vermilion Ring. I just happened to scroll over as it fell. Some cluster jewel bases, all around 5C a piece. All the items, so to speak, counting cluster jewels, 310C. This Vermilion Ring I counted for like 60 chaos. Honestly, when I put it in my to sell bags, I'm gonna put it in for like an Exalt. It could potentially sell that high, but you know, it might not. So anyway, there you have it. I ran a variety of different Delirium orbs, and one of them I ran, only one, I ran the Delve Delirium orb. The Fossil Delirium orb, and happened to drop a Prime Chaotic Resonator, which is pretty crazy. That's 45C there. Next we got fragments and splinters and, you know, all that good stuff here. Oh my goodness, I realized I just completely forgot to put these in. Whoops. Okay, that would include everything up through, and I go ahead and count this map in there. Gonna take me a little longer to explain all this. So we got the Scarabs worth about 20C in total. Chayula's worth over. Actually, Chayula. Hold on a second. Chayula Breachstones are worth 2x a piece now. Selling 1.9 solid here. So Chayula has really gone up in value. They were basically worth. This is like 80C in Chayula splinters. Close to about an Exalt in all these splinters, breach splinters. Let's see, 20 Exalt 20. This is a Apex of Ascension. Let's go ahead and call all of that together. So that's all the splinters, Scarabs, and oh yeah, a tall breachstone as well. Yeah, we'll count that 1.5x. I think is pretty fair. Which we'll do actually about 200C. Call it about 200C. I think that's rather fair. Change slightly a little bit here. Okay. Yeah, moving on. Now, the currencies, I didn't skip any of these, I hope. Starting with some of the lesser currencies, scourings. A lot of scourings, 62C in scourings here. We got Regal Orbs, 24C. I'm counting these as less than half a chaos for each. And then we get into more than half a chaos for each. Blessing Orbs and Val Orbs. Blessed 68C, Val Orbs 185C, almost 1C a piece for Val Orbs. Orbs of Regret I count basically 1-to-1, 232C. Also with Gem Cutter Prisms, which I actually forgot those too. Wow. I kind of went through this a little bit faster than usual. 20C there. Alright, we're getting things fixed up here. How many Chaos Orbs? Almost 500. Almost. 475 Chaos Orbs. Sextants, I went and combined them all into Awakens. That's 672 Chaos worth at 3 apiece. Veiled Chaos Orbs, Annulments, and Unmakings, I all counted at 8C apiece. So that's 56 for the Unmaking, 40 for the Annuls, 32 for the Veiled. This Harbinger Orb I counted as 4. Divine Orbs. Got a few Divine Orbs from all this Strongbox Monsters Treasure stuff. 47. 27 Divine Orbs at 18C apiece. Still 18C apiece and above. 486 Chaos. Exalts. Got 10 raw Exalts and 16 maps. Not bad. I mean, somewhat expected doing double beyond with Monsters Treasure and everything. And the Exalts I calculated at 140C apiece. That's a little bit higher than they're worth now, but they have been worth so much more than that for so long. I decided for these tests I'm doing at the very end of the season, I'm going to count Exalts as 140C apiece, probably to the rest of the season. 1470 Chaos here. Simulacrum, total 107 Chaos here, and all the Divination cards. I did not get any massive Divination cards here. I got pretty good on stacked decks from the expeditions. A lot of these are just worth 5 to 10 apiece. And the Patient, which we were target farming. I did get 45 Patient cards in 16 maps, which is almost 2.5 patients per map. This is mega juicing. As stated towards the beginning of the video, I do believe Sergog did this and got 12 in 30 maps of an Al Can Go. I got 45 in 16 maps as a mega juicing, so you see a big difference there when actually targeting them with the Strongbox strategy. Divination card total is 861C. I am going to make a comment about this card. It's a fine card to farm. I kind of put it on par with Saints Treasure farming, particularly in the first half of the season when Headhunter is going up in value. In the very beginning of the season, this card's undoubtedly worth more than Saints Treasure. It's a good card to farm, I think. The problem is the map is really not good for Strongbox. There are too many areas in the map where the Strongbox will spawn in a just absolute terrible location. In a place where I know, after having done enough Strongbox farming, that not even half of the monsters are spawning that should, and really missing out on quite a bit. And that's the big reason why I don't want to do this strategy again. Particularly farming that card. If it wasn't for that, I'd be open for it, honestly. You could target farm this card without Strongboxes, but you're not going to get nearly as many cards as I did, thanks to the 600% increased quantity for monsters that spawn from the Strongboxes. Total amount 6,449 Chaos. That's roughly 45 Exalts. Total cost 24 Exalts. There's 24 Exalts for 16 maps. About, like I said earlier in the video, approximately 1.5 Exalts per map. I was able to run these maps pretty quickly. I've tightened up my loot filter, and as you can see, I don't have more than a quad tab full of stuff. Compared to my insane juicing in Glennet Cairns I did more recently, I only made it like not even half the clicks that I had to make in that. Consequently, I was able to farm maps at a rate of about 15 minutes for one map. There's a little bit more for Monsters Treasure, a little bit less without it. Only 3 Monsters Treasures spawned in 16 maps. That's a little bit under RNG. I feel like 4 or 5 in 16 maps, probably 4 would be average. So might have found another 2 patient cards if that had happened, and another Exalt maybe. Had 2 maps that dropped 3 Exalts each, so 6 of my Exalts came in 2 maps. They were not Monsters Treasure, by the way. One map I dropped 5 patient cards in the same map. That was kind of a highlight. Pretty cool. Probably make a little highlight video on that. And there's not a whole lot to say other than this. This is part 1, concluding part 1 of the Headhunter Divination card farm. I'm not going to do the Fiend. I'm just going to do the Patient, the Nurse, and the Doctor card. I am really looking forward to doing the Nurse card. It was actually my favorite map to farm, the Tower, last season when it was in Glennick Cairns. I was essentially running Glennick Cairns, normal Beyond Glennick Cairns strategy. Actually, I wasn't really doing Beyond because I was still new at the game, didn't fully understand it at the time. I wish I could go back in time and do that. I would love for the Nurse to be in Glennick Cairns this time around. But anyway, we're going to do it, even though it's all the way up in Hayward Hamlet, and there is quite literally no synergy whatsoever that we can draw from to force extra Nurse cards to spawn, or currency for that matter. It's really a terrible zone for juicing. The zone is designed for really just ritual farming, get essences, and harvest. Harvest obviously does spawn some extra monsters, but you can't force harvest unless you roll it. So, you know, anyone who farms harvest knows it's really about the seeds and trying to get that T4 seed and good T3 seeds. So again, thank you for watching the video. Yeah, profit about 6 to 7 exalts per hour, and that was mainly because of the speed at which I was able to do this. And yeah, that's not too bad, really. But to be honest, I think, you know, if I just scrap the divination profit, I'm still looking at like 4 to 5x per hour. So it's not huge. The divination cards are not contributing in a super fantastical way. Based on the fact that 45 patient cards dropped in 16 maps, one can only assume that's 4.5 full stacks of patients. One can only assume I'm going to get about 4 Nurse cards in 16 maps. And having farmed the Nurse a lot, I think that's pretty accurate, probably. I would maybe guess, you know, if I just had to guess a number, I'd say like 5 to 6 Nurse cards in 16 maps I think I'll get. But we're going to find out because I'm about to do it. Like literally, I'm going to stop this stream and then just start it up because I got them prepped and ready to go. So look forward to that. And I hope this information is valuable for you. There's not really any mega juicing, patient targeting videos out there, I don't think. So hopefully that is insightful for you, help you to decide on whether or not you want to target that card. Yep. See you guys.